Hello, my bookish friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Becca if you're new here. Today I'm so excited to talk to you about like my spooky season TBR because it's already going to be October. If you're looking for some potential recommendations or ideas of what to read in October, stay tuned because I'm gonna go through like 20 plus books. I would also very greatly appreciate if you enjoy my videos, if you could subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. It helps me tremendously. And yeah, I greatly appreciate you all, but let's jump into all of these books because there's a lot. So to start off with my October TBR, which I apologize in my previous videos that I've never actually explicitly said what TBR means, but TBR means like to be read. So these are like my want to read list. So if you're new to the bookish space, I'm sorry. I'm like so used to the bookish lingo that I just forget that some people aren't. So my October TBR. The first book is Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer. This was selected by my in-person book club. I'm so excited. In my fall releases video, I was talking about how I wanted to suggest this one for my October book club, and I hope that they voted for it, and they did, so that's super fun. I'm very excited to read this one. This one, you're following a girl who is fired from her job at like this Christian church-owned craft store because she is caught like living with her girlfriend, which of course in like a small religious hometown is like a big no-no. So she gets fired from her job and as like an act of rebellion decides to steal from the craft store, and she gets caught. However, instead of calling the police, they just decide to lock her in the craft store and attack her. And there's like a bigger mystery at play as to like this church's role in the town. It just seems like a hoot, and I'm really excited to get to this one, and I think it'll be a really fun discussion with my October book club. Okay, sorry, my camera died, so the angle may have switched a smidge. However, okay, my next highly anticipated read is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. This is Senlin Yu's like dark fantasy debut, and this book is like over 1,000 pages. It is dark. There is a lot of content warnings for this book, so I feel like there's been some discourse online about people thinking that this is like a romance fantasy book. No. This is dark, this is disturbing, this is heartbreaking. I'm very excited because I have just been wanting a book that's going to make me feel something, you know? I just love when I have a book and I just don't want to put it down and it's just gripping and I'm just like fully immersed in the world. I forget that I'm reading. And of course, like I love when a book makes me cry, and I cry very easily. So if a book can't make me cry, you're not doing enough because I be crying at everything. Okay, so I've heard that this is just a phenomenal read. I haven't heard a bad review of it yet. It's actually coming in a future subscription box that I have, so I'm waiting for that to arrive, but it might not get here till the end of the month. So I am contemplating just getting it on my Kindle and reading it. I will be doing a reading vlog of this book, so if you're interested, that will be coming very soon. In this, you're following a girl in like a post-war world where her side is the one that lost. She's a prisoner of war. She has lost her memories. There's like magic, there's necromancy, there's alchemists. It sounds just absolutely incredible, and I have really been wanting to read something like this, so I'm very excited to get to this one. Those two are like top of my priority list for October. The next is Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. This, you're following like a medieval knight as he is traveling with a young girl across like a plagued landscape. I'm gonna pull up the description because this was also an option for our October book club, and I did vote for this one because I obviously don't vote for my own book, but this one is very high on my priority list. Okay, the year is 1348. Thomas, a disgraced knight, has found a young girl alone in a dead Norman village, an orphan of the Black Death, and an almost unnerving picture of innocence. She tells Thomas that plague is only part of a larger cataclysm, that the fallen angels under Lucifer are rising in a second war on heaven, and that the world of men has fallen behind the lines of conflict. Is it delirium or is it faith? Oh yes, I forgot that there's like angels and demons involved in this already. Like, hello, that sounds absolutely incredible. The next ones are a little bit more like traditional, like horror creepy. The other ones are like dark fantasy. These ones are a little bit more horror. So the next one is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clayware. And I've had this one on my Kindle since last year. I intended to read it last year. Pretty much all of these books I've intended to read last year, but then I just never got to it. But this one, you're following a couple who moves into this house, and then as they're like working on it, fixing it up, they get a knock on the door of like this family that shows up, and they say that like we used to live here, and ask if they can come inside and see the house. And then some crazy stuff happens. That's all I know. And it sounds absolutely horrifying. Like the thought of people randomly showing up at your house and being like, we used to live here. Can we come inside? No. Bye-bye. So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. That one sounds like really creepy. The next one is Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark. I need to pull up the description for this one because I don't remember. So in America, demons wear white hoods. In 1915, the Birth of a Nation cast a spell across America, swelling the clan's ranks and drinking deep from the darkest thoughts of white folk. All across the nation, they ride, spreading fear and violence among the vulnerable. They plan to bring hell to earth. Even the Ku Kluxes can die. Standing in their way is Maurice Boudreau and her fellow resistance fighters, a foul-mouthed sharpshooter and a Harlem hellfighter. Armed with a blade, bullet, and bomb, they hunt their hunters and send the clan's demons straight to hell. But something awful is brewing in Macon, and the war on hell is about to heat up. Can Maurice stop the clan before it ends the world? Clearly, I have like a type of book that I like to read, and this sounds absolutely incredible and scary, and this is a novella, guys. It's 185 pages. So I'm gonna breeze through this one. I'm really excited. Okay, and then the last book on my like priority October TBR is Bunny by Mona Awad. This has been on my list for so long, and it is a book that I am anxiously anticipating reading. Like, I just don't know. I feel like sometimes I save the books that I'm so excited to read for like a special occasion. And I don't know why I do that. I really don't know why I do that to myself, honestly. I'm like having like a realization right now that like I shouldn't do that. I should just like read the book I'm most excited about in the moment and not like wait until it's like the right time to read it, because it's never the right time, and then I end up waiting years to actually read the book. So that's fun. Anyways, Bunny by Mona Awad is about a girl who's going to get her MFA in writing. And in this MFA program, she meets a group of girls who all dress the same, look the same, act the same, and they all call each other Bunny. They're into some weird freaky deaky stuff. I'm pretty sure this is like very horrific, maybe giving like Scream Queens vibes, which is like incredible. Now I want to rewatch Scream Queens. So yeah, it's like very dark academia, like horror, which I'm excited about. Okay, like this next section are books that I would like to get to these at some point, but if not, you know, I'm not in any rush. The Night That Finds Us All, I talked about this one also in my fall releases video. This is about a girl who's like down on her luck. She has a boat, but she needs to fix it up, and she gets an offer to sail a boat from Seattle to England, and this boat is like old and haunted, and some scary things start to happen. But that just sounds fun. Like I love like an ocean seafaring, like creepy ship. Like a haunted ship. That sounds amazing. So very excited for that one to come out. The next one is What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher. This is the third book in the Sworn Soldier series. This is like a novella series by T. Kingfisher where you're following Alex Easton in various different like scenarios. The first one was very fungal horror. The second one is very supernatural vibe. And this one also is giving, it's like in Appalachia and like coal mines. So like you can kind of catch the vibe of, you know, what stalks the deep. The coal mines. What's in the coal mines, people? So yeah, I'm very excited for that one. That one also comes out this year. I already have it on hold on Libby, so whenever Libby gives it to me is when I will read it. So very excited about that one. The next one is Gory Details. It is Adventures from the Dark Side of Science. This is a nonfiction read, but a science reporter investigates the gross, strange, and morbid absurdities of our bodies and our universe. So I figured this could be kind of like a fun way to like learn about like some really strange things. I can be a bit morbidly curious at times. So I'm really wanting to get into books about like strange things. I have a video that's going to come out, I believe next week, about all kinds of nonfiction reads with lots of recommendations for very interesting nonfiction books. And this is on there, but I think this could be one that's really fun to read in October. So I would love to be able to get to that if I have the bandwidth to do so. The next book is called Revelator Mother by Daryl Gregory. This is a gripping tale of a family's mysterious religion and the daughter who turns her back on their God. In 1933, 9-year-old Stella is left in the care of her grandmother, Maudie, in the backwoods of Tennessee. These remote hills of the Smoky Mountains are home to dangerous secrets, and soon after she arrives, Stella wanders into a dark cavern where she encounters the family's personal god, an entity known as the Ghost Daddy. That's surprising. I didn't know that they were called Ghost Daddy. It's giving Sky Daddy, which I kind of love. Years later, after a tragic incident that caused her to flee, Stella, now a professional bootlegger, returns for Maudie's funeral and to check on the mysterious 10-year-old girl named Sunny that Maudie adopted. Sunny appears innocent enough, but she's more powerful than Stella could imagine, and she's a direct link to Stella's buried past and her family's destructive faith. Haunting and wholly engrossing, summoning mesmerizing voices, and giving shape to the dark revelator is a Southern Gothic tale for the ages. That just sounds so creepy and atmospheric and like perfect for October. The next is The Year of the Witching. I have also had this one on my Kindle for a really long time. This is by Alexis Henderson. You're following a young woman living in a rigid puritanical society discovers dark powers within herself in this stunning feminist fantasy debut. Incredible. I love like the puritanical horror, and I have one in my recommendations that I'll list a little bit later, like Salem witch trials, like all of that is like, again, perfect for October. So very excited for that one. The Center, this one was like really unique to me. This is basically like about an institute where you can go to learn any language within like a week, and the way that you're able to learn the language is very creepy and disturbing and weird. So I'm like, well, what is it? So I have to read the book to find out. But I thought that one sounded super interesting. The next one is Mary by Nat Cassidy. This one also been on my list for a really long time. You're following like a middle-aged woman named Mary who has just like been through the ringer. She's like lost her job. She decides to move back home to sort of find herself. But she's like hearing voices in her head. She's seeing things, and it's starting to become like very similar to like a previous serial killer. And so yeah, it's like, what's the links between all of that? Maybe she's the serial killer. I don't know. I love like a psychological horror. Like that's what this sounds like. Unreliable narrator. Like, is she crazy? Is she experiencing something supernatural? Like, what's going on here? Love it. So Mary sounds super fun. And then the last one that I would love to get to is Someone That You Can Build a Nest In by John Wissell. This is like a monster who like falls in love, but it's not like monster romance. It's like weird. So basically, Shishishin is a shapeshifter who happily resides as an amorphous lump at the bottom of a ruined manor. When her rest is interrupted by hunters intent on murdering her, she constructs a body from the remains of past meals, a metal chain for a backbone, bones for limbs, and a bear trap as an extra mouth. However, the hunters chase Shishishin out of her home and off a cliff. Badly hurt, she's found and nursed back to health by Homily, a warm-hearted human who has mistaken Shishishin as a fellow human. Homily is kind and nurturing and would make an excellent co-parent, an ideal place to lay Shishishin's eggs so their young could devour Homily from the inside out. But as they grow close, she realizes humans don't think about love that way. Shishishin hates keeping her identity secret from Homily, but just as she's about to confess, Homily reveals why she's in the area. She's hunting a shape-shifting monster that supposedly cursed her family. Has Shishishin seen it anywhere? Eating her girlfriend isn't an option. Shishishin didn't curse anyone, but to give herself and Homily a chance at happiness, she has to figure out why Homily's twisted family thinks that she did. As the hunt for a monster becomes increasingly deadly, Shishishin must unearth the truth quickly, or soon both their lives will be at risk. That sounds incredibly unhinged and so fun. I'm curious how long this one is. If it's shorter, I think I'll be able to bump it up on the priority list because that sounds so fun. 310 pages. Maybe. That is a lot of books that I want to read and hopefuls. I mean, Alchemize alone is over 1,000 pages. Like, that will take me a full week to read. So there's like a lot of books, but I'm hoping that I can get to a lot of them if I just like, quit scrolling and like actually dedicate some time to reading, because I've just been scrolling a lot lately. I definitely need to do like a little scrolling cleanse because yeah, it's not good. Anywhozer. As far as recommendations, I do have 5 that I have read that I liked that I think would be good recommendations for you that I can personally give you. The other ones, I don't know if they're any good. they might suck. These ones I know are good. So the first one is Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is about a woman who receives like a distressing letter from her cousin who was like married off, that some things are like very strange at the place that she's living. So our main character goes to kind of like rescue, save, visit her cousin, and things are really strange. It's like really weird. So it's so atmospheric and gothic. It was like an incredible read. The audiobook for this is also amazing. I read this like 2 or 3 years ago, so I think I'm due for a reread at some point, but I remember really enjoying it. So that one is a good one. The next one is Slewfoot by Brahm. This is perfect for October. It's again like giving like puritanical Salem witch trials vibe, where you're following our character named Agatha, or is it Abatha? I think it's Agatha. It's kind of like making a deal with the devil to protect herself, because as you may know, during these times of the Salem witch trials, women who were widows would typically inherit their husbands' like land and properties, but other men in their family would want that land and property for themselves, and so they would accuse the women of being a witch, they would be killed, and then they would get to inherit the property. And that's kind of like the story that you're following here. And I feel like it's just like such a great atmospheric tale. I absolutely loved this one. The Unworthy by Agustina Bastrica. This is like religious cult horror. So you're basically following this woman, this unnamed woman, who's living in a post-apocalyptic world in like this cult commune called the Sacred Sisterhood. And she's just trying to like climb the ranks, but somebody ends up joining the Sacred Sisterhood, which really ends up like shifting her whole perspective and worldview on just like what life is like in the Sacred Sisterhood, and also before and outside of the Sacred Sisterhood. So it's like very creepy. It's very strange, like dystopian feminist horror vibes, which is always really fun. So I really enjoyed this one. Also a very short read. Next is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I loved this one. This is Toxic Lesbian Vampires, which if you're like Interview with a Vampire fan, like you will love this one. This is like so good. My only thing is I wish there were like more toxic, because like we recently started watching Interview with a Vampire, and they're toxic. And like Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil has like 50% that level of toxicity. So I'm like, we could just like crank that up a notch. But it's such a gripping read. You're following like 3 women and their experiences with vampirism, and like how their storylines all eventually like intertwine. I read this so quickly. It is really, really good. And then lastly is Hidden Pictures. I read this 3 years ago when I first got my Kindle, and it was truly such a fun experience. You're like following a woman who is like out of rehab and is like trying to get her I keep kicking the camera, sorry. It's about a woman who's like fresh out of rehab, who's like trying to get her life together, so she becomes like a live-in nanny for this family. And the young child is starting to like draw really creepy, weird pictures. And so the nanny's like, this isn't normal. And so she starts to investigate like what is happening, and like the history of like the family, the house, like the neighbors, like everything. And it's really creepy and weird and fun. And the picture, this is like a book you have to read either on your Kindle or physically, because I just remember like reading some of the pages, and then I would turn the page on my Kindle, and then the horrific, scary picture would pop up on the screen, and it actually like made me jump. It was so scary. So that one is super fun. Definitely recommend reading it physically, because the pictures really add to the story. Those are all the books, recommendations, hopefuls, priority TBR. I would absolutely love to know like what's on your reading list for October. Have you read any of these books? Are any of them like interesting to you? I would love to know your thoughts. So yes, like I said earlier, I would really appreciate it if you can give this video a like, and also subscribe to my channel, especially if you've made it this far. Clearly you like watching me talk, so you should just subscribe, and then you can see me talk all the time. I have videos out every single week. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.
ssssecrets is a shapeshifter who happily resides in the amorph. Why can't I talk? ssssecrets happily resides is a shape. This is such a hard thing to say. I'm crying. Okay, ssssecrets has made them. Guys, I'm like slightly dyslexic, so please forgive me.